And now, live from Level 5 Productions on the island of Milleronia, it's The Larry Miller Show. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and everyone who knows what a happy birthday really is. Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Larry Miller Show. I'm Larry Miller, but in a way, aren't we all? And boy, oh boy, is it ever beautiful here on Milleronia. So good to be back. It really is. You know, when you love a place so much, as I love Milleronia, and I think the Colonel does too. And by the way, when you not only love it, but when you made it and bought it and created it and designed it, and when you brought over all the colonists that you thought could start a good place and love the name Milleronia and follow all your orders or get taken up to Volcano 1, 2, or 3, well, you know what? You're going to love that place anyway. And I do. It's gorgeous here. And, of course, by the way, that's the music, as you know, always makes me happy. And Colonel Jeff, too. Boy. And, of course, that's the Kobe Bryant Orchestra and the Veronica Hope Dancers, featuring boy tenor Bill Levinson asking the musical question, I was wondering how Tom Mix got on the mountain and why he is there, who he was, and if Larry should have had that fish. Well, that's a heck of a question, by the way. Good work, Bill. And it's a lot of questions, but I like that. And both the Colonel and I figured by that, you know, we talked about it, that, well, how did Tom Mix get up on the mountain? Well, he had a horse, right? And he was a big Western star, right? And he was he was outfitted beautifully. And, you know, when he rode up there to look around for the bad guys. What else, you know, he do? He's a good guy. He reared his horse's head up, and the horse got back on two legs, and you know, then Tom pulled out his 6-gun and galloped off in pursuit. That's, you know what, that's how he got on the mountain. That's how Tom Mix got on the mountain. Why is he there? Well, as I just mentioned, he's a good guy after the bad guy. That's, you know, that's how you get them. You got to look all around there in that parched area. You got to look around and you'll find them. You'll see. You don't even need a telescope, not someone like Tom Mix. You could just see. And then, who is he? He's Tom Mix the hero. That's who he is. And a big Western star and a hero. And the most important question of all, should Larry have had the fish? No. That's an easy one. No, just no. And I love saying that, by the way, after any sound. Oh, it's been years and years. It's, and I think that's what we used to call a stock line, too, that many other fellas and, many other fellas used to have that they could say. And I love saying it when you hear just a trombone and a blat or anything. Or right, that's exactly it. Or a huge ocean liner horn. Well, it always felt funny to me to just say, oh, excuse me, I should have had the fish. But, you know, and you add, but, you know, because it's just funny. It may not be the funniest thing in history, but I like saying it. And so to say that, I should have had the fish, it just reminds you, or it evokes an image of, well, say you're on an airplane, and not recently, of course, but they give you a choice of meals. Do you want the steak or the vegetarian thing or the fish? Well, I should have had the fish. And just the two words, the fish, it really sounds like something vaudevillian. So let's give you another sample of it. Oh, boy, I should have had the fish. In any case, Good question, Bill. And, and by the way, I love fish. And I love the meat too, but it just sounds funny. The fish. It wouldn't be funny if you said the steak. Oh, I should have had the steak. Let's try it again, and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, boy, I should have had the salad. You know, it just doesn't quite mean anything. And anyway, thanks, Bill. And to have mentioned Kobe Bryant. As you know, unless you live in a cave, Kobe, well, was just killed in a helicopter crash. And his daughter was with him, I think. And 7 or 8 other folks on that helicopter from Calabasas, I believe. And, well, you know, the truth is it makes people think, and I'm not really a fan of his. I know he was great, and I'm not a basketball fan either, really. I don't watch basketball, but it was just good manners. The Colonel and I both thought, you know what? You deserve a tip of the hat, and here it is. And having mentioned Veronica Hope, she's a fan and sent us a letter saying that, quote, just wanted to let you know that I played my husband your old fruity bit, and it killed him. And that was very sweet of her to write. And thanks, Veronica. And I admit I feel a little awkward that you were just looking for an excuse to kill your husband. But that you know what? We don't know each other. Maybe he had it coming. And maybe if you two were a couple in a nice house on Milleronia, maybe you could have just come to me and said, hey, would you mind walking my husband up to volcano number 2 to make it even worse than number 1? And you know what? I would have done it too. And then you and I could have helped you with your mourning. There's nothing meant by that, by the way. I just realized that came out. It's nothing horrible. At any rate, thanks, Veronica. And by PayPal. That's right, PayPal. I like that group. I like this company. They're terrific. You know what? Whenever you do something with PayPal, you feel like you've saved the world, and who knows, maybe you have. And if you love my show, and why wouldn't you? And you want to help us out and send us a couple of bucks? And why wouldn't you? Then you know what? Go to PayPal. You can get there. Well, you got 100 different ways. You can get there on your laptop, on your iPhone, on whatever phone or top you have. But don't do that. Go to our website and we'll take you there. That's our website, which is LarryMillerPodcast.com. Who's on the Mountain? Tom Mix. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have had the gnocchi. What is that stuff anyway, by the way? I just said it because it felt funny. It's an Italian thing, right? Oh, knows. Anyway, do that. Go to our website and we'll have a banner that says PayPal. Click that banner. We'll get you there. And that brings me to my favorite part of the show, the joke of the week. Now, this is a pretty good one that the Colonel and I both got a giggle out of this. There's a guy at work and he wants to talk to his wife because it's going to be a little late that night. And so he picks up the phone, punches in the number. A woman comes on the phone with a voice he doesn't know, and he says, wait, who is this? She says, it's the maid. And he said, the maid? Wait a minute, we don't have a maid. What's happened here? She said, well, I just started. I was hired this morning. The lady of the house hired me. And he said, the lady, what? That would be my wife. Just put her on. Is she there? Just put her on the phone. And there's an embarrassed moment. And then the maid says, well, I'm sorry, but she's upstairs. And she's in her room with the door closed. And she's in there with a man that I assumed was just you. That he was the husband. Now the guy goes, starts to go nuts. Wait, what? Wait a minute. What? What are you talking? She's in the bedroom with, and he gets really mad. He's violent. And he said, All right, now I want you to listen to me. How'd you like to make $50,000 right now? And she, well, all right, yes, sir, sure. And he says, go into my den, into my desk, and right in the drawer there in the center, there's a gun. Take it out, it's fully loaded, pick it up, and walk upstairs with it and go right into my wife's bedroom. I want you to go in there and shoot them both. And yes, sir. All right, Wood. I'll just leave the phone on the desk here then, and just. And she goes in, picks up the gun, goes upstairs, and the next thing the guy hears is bang, bang, and it's done. She comes down. Okay, yes. Oh, sir. What shall I do now? And he said, take him out and throw him in the pool. And she said, the pool. Wait, sir. There's no pool here at the house. And there's a pause, and he says, wait a minute. Is this 5554173? We got a kick out of that, and that's, wow, that didn't go well at all. That's one of the jokes that's fun to hear. Boy, he gets madder and madder and madder. Here's what you're going to do. And he offers a huge amount of money. Anyway, I hope you like it, and once again, if you do keep it alive, pass that around to your friends and family and folks at work. And, by the way, don't make any mistakes like that. And that brings me to my second favorite part of the show, the Poetry Corner. This is a poem by the Australian poet Banjo Paterson. And no problem asking why his first name is Banjo. You know, why not? Well, you know, what would you call him? Trombone? But you know what? It's called As Long as Your Eyes Are Blue by Banjo Patterson. Will you love me, sweet, when my hair is gray and my cheeks shall have lost their hue? When the charms of youth shall have passed away, will your love as of old prove true? For the looks may change and the heart may range, and the love be no longer fond. Will you love me with truth in the years of youth, and away to the years beyond? Oh, I love you, sweet, for your locks of brown, and the blush on your cheek that lies. But I love you most for the kindly heart that I see in your sweet blue eyes. For the eyes are the signs of the soul within, of the heart that is real and true. And, my own sweetheart, I shall love you still, just as long as your eyes are blue. For the locks may bleach and the cheeks of peach may be reft of their golden hue, but my own sweetheart, I shall love you still, just as long as your eyes are blue. Well, that's lovely, isn't it? And you know what? All he needs is a better name. I think, Banjo Patterson wrote a great poem there. And thanks, pal. And once again, as always, like a good joke, if you like it, please keep it going. And that brings me to my third favorite part of the show, MMM, the Magic Movie Moment. Oh, forgive me, I should have had the stuffed cabbage. At any rate, but you know... No, I can't stop saying that. Yes, I can. Don't worry. This is a terrific movie. And it's been a while. The Longest Day from 1962, directed by Andrew Marden and Ken Anakin. It had many different directors because it had, well, British scenes and American scenes and French scenes and German scenes. So they had directors for each of those. And what a cast, starring John Wayne, Robert Mitchum, Henry Fonda, Richard Burton, Red Buttons, so many others. Good Lord, this movie has a cast, and by the way, Sean Connery and a lot of folks you know instantly. And by the way, all the German actors too, playing, well, bad guys. But this is about D-Day. This is about the American and British invasion onto the beaches at Normandy on June 6th, 1944, and how it was made and how it was done and what happened. And it's very dramatic and very moving. And boy, oh boy. And the scene that, well, I've always thought about since I saw it even the first time. John Wayne, who plays Colonel Benjamin Vandervoort, comes leading his troops. They've already invaded, by the way, and now they're going. But John Wayne, the colonel, broke his leg on landing. And it's broken but good. And his guys, well, the medic there just put a couple of pieces of wood around the sides of it. And that was that, because this is war, and that was D-Day. And they picked him up and put him on the front hood of a Jeep, and somebody drove him that way. He led his battles that way. And, well, if you know anything about John Wayne, that was okay with him. He was going in. And into this small French city comes John Wayne leading his troops. And remember, he's on the front of that Jeep with his broken leg. And the first thing he sees, sure, there are Americans all over there, going around and setting up wires and doing this and making a headquarters. But the first thing Wayne sees is a dead American paratrooper hanging by his parachute 50 feet above the ground. And all the other paratroopers are dead, because what we saw, what you and I saw before Wayne got there, was they were a half-mile off of their mark, of their target. And all the Nazis gathered and just stood there with their rifles in the town square and killed them all as they were falling, as they were parachuting down. And this guy, red buttons, I believe, and this guy is hanging by that parachute, and Wayne goes ballistic on the American officer in charge for leaving buttons up there with no respect. What the hell are you doing here? What's wrong with you? Well, Colonel, when we got here, I wanted to set up a communique. Don't you give me any of that. And you get him down there with respect and honor right now. He didn't come here to do that. He didn't come here to hang like a pig. He gave his life. He's dead now. It's very dramatic. And you know what? It's also one of those moments in a movie like this, where you really care, where the stakes are so high. You know what? You and me and the audience, everyone, you would find yourself saying, yeah, exactly. And you know what? Then we'll talk about the war. We're here to kill Germans, not to have that young man hanging like that. In any case, it's a heck of a movie, folks. If you haven't seen it, The Longest Day, it's wonderful. And like 50 people in the cast from America and Germany and a bunch from France. And those German soldiers, by the way, who play them, you'll recognize more than half of them because they've been, they were in all sorts of war movies. And, one of my kids' birthdays is in 2 days. And he's living with us. And I want to get him something nice. But what? I've had this problem with gifts before. And I guess I've mentioned it before. I don't know what to get people. You know, my wife deserves better things than I got her, and for years now, and I never really know what to get. And for this son, I got him the receptionist, the chiropractor's wife in the office there. She's terrific. They're a great family anyway, and she's got a knack for these things. And she recommended, and she knows him well, and she saw something on the internet about a little green wallet. There were wallets, and not giant ones. They're smaller than that. They just hold, credit cards for one thing, and your license, and you just, pull a little lever on the bottom of it, and they all kind of flash up. They all shoot out in order, but they're one, then another one a quarter inch later, another quarter inch later. It's pretty nice. And, well, it's got a hard cover. And she suggested that, and I said, you know what, that's good. And so I got it, and it's not cheap. These things are, well, so just over $100, and, well, that may not be as much as a car, but that's a gift. And I went there with him, in fact, just a few days ago. And, well, he's great anyway, and I thought I'd give it to him then. Because, well, Laura deserves a tip of the hat to say, and it was her idea, and I thought it was a good idea and wanted to give it to you and buy it for you. And then Marcy, their other assistant there, just took, before we got there, while my kid was still in with the chiropractor, she kind of tiptoed away and she said, you want me to wrap it? And I said, yeah. And she did. She wrapped it up, and I got the green wallet, because I like green. I've mentioned that before. I love greens. But, she did, and she wrapped it. She had a little green bag, like a nice bag with a little handle on it, and some green wrapping paper, fluffy, tissuey kind of thing. And you know what? That's pretty good. And so I did, and he likes it. He's a good kid. God bless him. And see, the thing is, you can't get a kid of yours something fancy. That's just stupid, if you don't mind my saying. Well, I mentioned a car. You don't do that. Or a boat, or even if you have $1 zillion, you should never get him something flashy or expensive. Get him something, well, for his age. And from you, that he's got plenty of T-shirts already and tons of sneakers. I don't know, so I thought, well, maybe a book? I don't know. Why is that the first or the second thing a guy always thinks of? What kind of book? I thought of the classics, that Shakespeare. Or, yes, Homer. I thought that would be great, and it would be. But I could give him, I realized I could give him one of the ones on my shelves, and but he'd recognize it anyway, especially with my name in the cover there. And, but maybe a military thing, I thought. But then I thought, hey, he's seen enough of that already. He doesn't need someone else writing to him. Here's what you do when you're outnumbered and still have to charge. Well, God bless him, they already did that plenty. And, well, folks, I'm not proud of this, but like so many other gifts for my wife and my other kid, it's just going to come down to the day of his birthday. And that's the way it goes. I'll be busy and won't have more than an hour and 10 minutes to find something. And that means, well, you know what it means, a sweater or jewelry or something. And then the Colonel and I started talking about, what about toys? Hey, I used to love toys when I was a kid. I mean, toys. As I remember, those were, and the Colonel too, those were fun toys. You'd see them in the store or on TV. And, hey, and then the rocket fires. Well, it only fires 4 or 5 feet up in your den there. But, gee, they looked great. I remember all the terrific companies. Every boy wants a Remco toy. I remember that, from all the commercials. And then they added, I remember, every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls. They added that as part of the ad. And I, even as a kid, I guess I understood that. They don't want to box out a whole huge hunk of the population. And so they added, and so do girls, sure. I don't know an awful lot of girls who want to chase their friends with sharp rockets, but there you are. That's okay. Maybe they do, and who knows? What the heck? And, but here we are, we're recording, and we're on Milleronia, and it's true the stores will stay open as long as I tell them, but, who wants to go to a mall on Wednesday after recording your show and getting a haircut? I'm still going, after the show, I'm going to the haircut place, well, the barber. The haircut place, that's so stupid. But to the barber and getting a haircut. That'll be about 4. And so I'll be out of there by 4:30, and then I could go to, but again, who wants to do that at 5? I don't know. Well, then I realized that Because who wants to go to the mall then and after getting a haircut? The answer is no one, okay? And I just said to the Colonel before that, hey, I could go back to the Indian guy with the music box store in that other mall, and then the first thing I say could be, hey, guess what? He likes coffee. But to be honest, I don't even remember where that place was. I love telling the story, and it's all true. But I don't know, and hey, maybe another wallet. I could do that, go to some store, go to Macy's. Or what it all really comes down to, I just give him a couple of 20s from my wallet. How about that? No wrapping, and just fold them over and say, here, well, just, happy birthday. Go on, get out of here, Oh, thanks, Dad. And those aren't great gifts. I could ask my wife, because, she knows all these things too, that it's going to be us after doing the show, and, well, I usually want to lie down then. I'll let you know. No man wants to be shuffling around a mall at 5. And for the record, there's a pretty big rack of prime rib in the fridge. I hope rack is the right word, but it's big and it's long and it's all seasoned up that my wife did, and she just got it ready. And that's what she's going to make for tomorrow for his birthday dinner. And, well, I think that's pretty good. And you know what, folks? That and his new wallet should be a pretty good birthday right there. God knows I love him. I love my kids and I love my wife, but that's pretty good right there. I haven't learned yet how to get gifts beforehand. Maybe I never will, but it's not that hard. I know that, and you know it too. We know the same things. That's right. Homer is Homer, and Pluto is a planet. So remember, folks, as always, if you walked out of bed today and had a job to go to and a home to come back to and someone there who loves you, folks, the game's over and you've won. And I don't care what gift you get for your birthday. Be well, and we'll see you here next time.